A foundational wrap dry is one of the most used techniques in hairdressing. In this module, I'll show you how to smooth and manage any hair texture with different drying techniques and brushes. To achieve this foundational wrap, you'll be using smoothing techniques. So here we've got the hair wet, and we're gonna work from the top of the crown to behind the ear, and we're gonna explore different techniques as well as different brushes to understand how when they work together, they create very specific results. So we're going to take the hair and we're going to separate it from the top of the crown to behind the ear. So we're going to work on the back and then the front. Now we're very clear to separate these sections so that it's just easier to manage. We don't want to manage too much of hair. We really want to manage what is manageable for us. So as I take that horizontal section, we're going to start by doing what we call root, leaf, and beveling. So I'm going to use a paddle brush here to show how smooth the hair gets as I use these techniques, wrapping that hair back and forth along the nape of the neck, and then pulling that hair through to smooth it out. Now this technique is great for smoothing hair out that doesn't really have much wave or bend in it. So this is easy hair to smooth. It's simple, it's not complicated, and as it compresses the hair, it won't compress it so much that the hair will still have a little bit of body to it. The next technique we want to explore is using a vest brush. And the vest brush has some bristles that are a little closer together. Now using the same technique, it will smooth out a little bit more. So we're going to root the hair, and then we're going to leaf the hair, and then bevel the hair down. So as I'm wrapping back and forth, and then pulling that hair through. Now again, this hair is quite smooth already, so it doesn't require a great deal of work. So here I'm taking a horizontal section, and I'm using that vest brush to root and then to leaf and to bevel the hair, smoothing that hair out. Now this will get the hair slightly smoother and more compressed than if I just use a paddle brush. As I work my way up the hair, we're going to explore using a different brush but the same technique. Here I'm using a mixed bristle brush, and in this mixed bristle, I'm rooting the hair back and forth, and then I'm leafing the hair, and then I'm beveling the hair, following the same techniques: root, and then leaf, and then bevel. Here I am leafing the hair, smoothing that hair out, just picking it up, nothing overly complicated. And the goal is to work very well and slowly and clearly to get the end results. And then at the end, I'm just going to bevel the hair, smoothing those ends out, really making sure to compress that hair down. Technique is the same, but the brushes are different. So because I'm using a different brush, I'll get a slightly different result. The paddle brush will give me a little less straight and a little fuller hair. The vest brush will give me a little more straight and a little more compressed. And then the mixed bristle brush will get me the most straight and the most compressed. So depending on the look we're going for, we want to pay attention to the nuances that are created by using the same technique but different tools to get the results. And now we have a language called root, leaf, and bevel that will give us the looks we're going for. After we've learned these three techniques, it's time to explore what we call locking the hair. Now you'll notice I take the brush, I go over top of the hair, and then I bring the hair over to the handle and lock it with my thumb. And then as I go down, I'm blow drying on top of that hair, and this is a great technique for really smoothing and compressing hair down. Now I'm using a paddle brush, knowing that even though I'm using a locking technique, it's going to make the hair a little less straight than if I use other brushes. So as I'm locking, pulling that hair through, when it comes time to do the ends, I'm going to lock the ends into place, pulling that hair into the brush, locking it with my thumb, and then smoothing that hair out. So alternatively, a different way to position your brush is if you want to use the length of the brush instead of the width of the brush, so you can also lock it using the ends where the hair is being held at the handle at the end. Then it's time to do an end lock. When I'm doing that end lock, I'm taking the hair into the brush, I'm bringing it all the way over to the handle, I'm locking it through with my thumb so I have that tension, and then we're going to use that heat to really compress and smooth that hair down as I'm going through, really making that hair nice and straight. Now again, as I explore these techniques, we can look at different tools to get very different results. And now from the paddle brush, I've moved on to a vest brush where I'm going to lock through, and then when it's time to get to the ends, I'm going to then do an end lock. And all of these techniques are going to give me a cleaner, smoother, more compressed hair. Here I am, I've locked the root all the way through to the ends, and then it's time for me to reverse the brush, put it into the handle, and then hold those ends tight. And now I'm going to show you how to do a lock and an end lock using a mixed bristle brush. Now this will make the hair more straight and more smooth and more compressed because the bristles are closer together. So as I'm working my way through, I'm locking that hair, really compressing it, using that nozzle with high heat, really setting that hair, and then it's time to move that hair over to the handle, really setting and smoothing that hair. So now I've taken a mixed bristle brush and I've locked that hair, smoothing it out, and then as I get to the ends, doing an end lock, really being focused on smoothing and compressing that hair and making it as straight as possible. For the next technique we're going to learn, we call boxing the hair. And boxing the hair requires us taking a larger section, and what we're going to do is we're going to do the same locking technique, but we're going to do it as though it's a box. So we're going to do one side, then the top, and then the other side, and then the underneath section. And by doing that, we end up creating a bit of an oven effect. So by the time you're done with that underneath section, the entire section should be dry. This is a very efficient way to get the hair straight and smooth quickly. So what we've done is we boxed the hair, and then in order to get the ends, we're just going to do an end lock. So we come through and smooth that out, making sure to really compress that hair down and get the tension we're looking for. So we get an end, smooth, straight result very quickly and very effectively. Now for this top section, we're just going to look at what it means to just move between all of the techniques. I'm going to root, I'm going to leaf, I'm going to bevel, I'm going to lock, I'm going to end lock, and I might even box a little bit. So it's not that we need to use these techniques in just specific little areas. Sometimes we need to use a combination of them all to really get the results we're looking for, to smooth the hair down. So here I am rooting the hair, and then leafing the hair, and then beveling the hair. And as I continue on, if the hair is not responding the way I want, I can start to lock it, I can end lock it, and then if I need to, I can even box the hair to really compress it, smooth it out, and make it the best blow dry I can.